Well, hello, everybody. And hey, Francisco, thanks for stopping by again today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So I heard last week that somebody around town was saying that VA loans don't accept VA loans because they are difficult loans to offers to take. I can see that 2, 5, 10 years ago, but not today. That's my take on it because I know the VA loan changed 2 years ago. Plus now in our area, you can do pest. If there's any, they can pay for the pest report. They can also pay for the pest repairs now where before they couldn't.
Right.
So it's basically just the same transaction as anything else, unless you're dealing with a 78 or older home that has peeling paint.
Right. And either way, I mean, a lot of the times as well with the VA loans, I mean, they can close just as fast too.
It's they're better. I mean, you don't have to worry about where's his money. There is no money.
Yeah.
Right. And just because VA doesn't have any money down doesn't mean they don't have money in their account.
Right. And I think, I mean, it's just kind of like, I mean, I even think like back to when we helped out, our clients.
By the way, they reached out to me because they got supplemental taxes.
Oh.
My house went from, they said the value of the land was this. Now it's like this. And it's like, okay, read me your total value and how, and then that's what you bought your house for. Oh,
yeah. It caught me by surprise, man. They hit me with those supplemental taxes too after I paid them.
Right.
I was like, man,
let's focus back on what we were talking about.
Yeah. So with them, I mean, we helped them get into that house with the VA loan at like, yeah.
Yeah. It's over a year ago.
But it like, I mean, that was
that's
almost
21.
That was almost like an impossible time.
Yeah. Because when nobody would, oh, you don't want to do the VA loan because you're getting cash offers. Well, you got them in and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That was the first deal we did.
Exactly. Which is crazy because, that's kind of how, everything really started. I remember you were like, well, what'd you do? And I was just, just put the effort, really. I mean, like at the end of the day, because they were going to everybody and everybody was like, no, just
VA's might horrible. As well not. It's horrible.
Use conventional when it's like, man, I mean, you served, you deserve that. Like, no matter what, you shouldn't listen to anybody who's telling you otherwise. Yes, though, unfortunately, I mean, yeah, sometimes you still do hear it where people are like, kind of, I mean, I don't even want to say against it, but just
they don't
preferring.
They don't know the difference. They don't understand. They just think what they heard they take. That's the way it is. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. That's right. What they do instead of going, no, this is easy. The only time you run into an issue is if there's peeling paint, but you have the same problem on conventional and FHA if it's 78 or older because of lead paint issues.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So. And that's where, and I mean, even then, I mean, you take it to a sample, have a sample be taken to a lab,
I know, but if you're but the peeling paint is going to come up on everybody,
right?
Not just VA. But a lot of people think, oh, the VA loan is so different now. It's up to 2.5 million with no money down, dude. It's ridiculous. So
it's nice.
It's a great program, and you have less to worry about. Well, they don't have enough money. Then the value came in. It's going to come in. There is issues you can do with when you have issues with value. There's other stuff you can do. Not that we've seen that in a while, but don't not take a veteran's loan because you think it's difficult. Ask somebody who does them all the time, like myself, or another person who focuses on VA loans, because we'll tell you there's no reason not to take it.
Right. On top of it too, it's kind of like, I mean, and again, for those people out there that do need to take that route and go with VA, that's where representation does matter too. Right. Because like, even when I was helping out, our clients, I was really going to bat for them, despite it being everything. I was like, look, they're very well qualified. I believe I had even turned in proof of funds at that time because that was one of the biggest issues. So as long as you have someone who's going to bat for you too, and is explaining, how solidly qualified you are, then there shouldn't be any reservations really. And again, I mean, for a lot of people, to me, it's just, it's discriminating. I think it's not a good thing to preach really. Just because, yes, there could sometimes be difficulties, or like I said, I wouldn't say rather than just shooing it away, like maybe sometimes some people will prefer like a conventional offer because well, it's cleaner or whatever. Right. I get it. But still a seller
cleaner.
Well, like even like I would say, like just like
How's
that
it cleaner?
that like
Now they can pay for pests.
right. Like
There's
there's really no, and that
yeah,
was
we
one
don't
of the
want to deal
biggest
with
ones.
this. You got to pay for this. Okay, we're going to use our earnest money deposit that we're not going to need because
Exactly.
everything's going to be covered, and we're going to use it for the pests.
And that's one of the biggest things that like, and again, like you're saying, is taking, like, now that everything has changed, it takes that responsibility off of the seller, right?
Mhm.
But so, and with that being said, can the buyer pay for it, but it just needs to be done before close, type of thing?
Correct.
Okay. And even then,
Or we find out that it's there, and then we do a VA short form that says there's no active pests, and they can deal with it afterwards.
yeah, you see, so, and that's where, again, it's like we're saying, that's where representation matters. You
Mhm.
know, if you have someone who's just submitting the offers for you and they're like, well, let's wish for the best, right? I mean,
Right. But come on,
success.
they signed on the line so that you could be here to sell real estate, and instead of actually being stuck in a house and not being able to buy it because it's government owned.
Right.
That's socialism and communism, by the way. But you're in an environment that a vet fought for this country so that you could do what you want, sell real estate, do this, do that. The first offer you should take, after cash, of course, is a VA loan.
Right. I think that's where even, I mean, and again, it's, getting creative even at times where, I mean, maybe even writing a letter. I know for a while it was
not
kind
supposed to against the CAR and everybody writing letters, because
right.
then you can be discriminated against.
Right. So that's where, it's just many times it's
the way
so
you
weird.
do is you call them like you did before. You call them and tell them, hey, here's the deal. But I'm just saying, if anybody deserves a chance before anybody else, it's a veteran.
100%.
And if their loan is so much better, it's better than FHA, it's better than USDA, it's just as good as conventional, because the only difference is the amount of the money down.
Right.
And
that's the biggest thing too, is like exactly like we said, for them having the courage to actually go out and fight for us and everything. You would imagine that, and truthfully, when they go and they get qualified, their rate is going to be much better than an FHA.
Their payment's going to be lower too.
Exactly,
on a monthly
because
basis,
of the PMI.
Exactly, they don't have it.
So, why strip them of that opportunity, right?
Yeah. Now that the loan is the way it is, so much better than it ever has been, there's no reason not to take that. It's not difficult. It's not 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's different. So understand that, please. I don't know if I can get off my soapbox, but please understand what I'm saying here.
No, definitely. And that's where, and I mean, again, at the end of the day, who's really going and jumping through those hurdles, it's still the buyer. It's not like really, it's putting a seller in a position. Let's say that things do come up on the pest report. I mean, things have been moving so quickly regardless that it can get done, and maybe they wait.
They don't even have to, dude. I just said we can do it's the same pest company. When we order the pest, we make sure they can do a short form just in case something comes up.
Yeah.
It's done all the time in Tuolumne County. It's done around here occasionally. Merced County, there's certain ones that'll do it, and there's other ones that'll like, I can't do that because that's just wrong. And then you have other ones like, yeah, no problem, I can do that.
Yeah.
Well, because it's internally their own stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some companies want to have that taken care of, and so a pest report's a loss leader. Loss leader is something I do for cheap that I lose money on so I can get the repairs.
Right.
You follow me?
No, exactly.
If you're that company, that's not who I want you to do the pests for the vets.
Right. Well, obviously it all has to be done, properly. Because
right.
I mean, and that's even the big thing, even with like lead-based paint. I mean, even whether it be, family with young children or anything. I mean, it's just about taking the precautions, right? Like you obviously don't want to be living somewhere that is going to cause harm to you.
Only if you eat it.
Right.
You understand that? You got to peel it off and actually chew on it and eat it and swallow it.
I think, well, for kids, it's a little different.
No,
right?
It's the same
thing.
Yes, they have to ingest it. Lead poisoning is by ingesting it, not by touching it.
No, yeah.
It's not a lizard where you have to wash your hands and get that stuff off you when you touch a lizard.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's like they say, right? It won't disturb you. It'll only disturb you if you disturb it, right?
I guess. Yeah. That's the biggest thing is kids would eat the paint off the walls as a chip. It's like, first of all,
why are you?
Yeah, feed your kid, will you?
So
that was the big thing. So that's why it's important that any peeling paint's off, and there's ways to deal with it, and it's not that big of a deal. But that's going to be the same on any house 78 or older. But then and just so most people don't realize, back in the 2000-ish 4 or 5, when there was paint that came over from China, had lead in it also.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, and
Move
that's the
on.
thing too. Yeah. But with the, you know, the VA though, nonetheless, you know,
Take the offer.
yeah, I mean, especially just don't look at it and kind of like give that sort of, or have that inclination, because it is, I mean, it's just kind of like a facade type of thing, right?
Right. Well, the thing is like in other areas where there's a lot of bases and there's others, they're a priority. In places there's not a base, which we don't have Crow's Landing anymore, it's gone. There's not a local base. They're not looked at as a priority, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to get like on a soapbox here, but I'm just saying they're a priority because they actually fought for this country. The reason they don't have to put a down payment is because they signed on that line. That was their down payment when they signed on that line. This program's for them. It's a great program. It's totally different than ever before. It needs to have priority over other loans. They should be the ones who get in above other people because they actually went to war or signed to go to war if they didn't go to war. But I'm done with my soapbox. But that's kind of what I guess we went a little over today on just get a VA loan. If it comes across your desk, look at them first, please.
Right. And talk to them too, you know, so that you could actually understand, you know, where it is.
Or if you don't understand, call me. I'll explain it to you. I'll go through the process. Even if I'm not dealing with the transaction, it's through somebody else, I'll help you out. And if you're taking a loan from some online company out of the area that has the same word in its name, maybe you might want to have them go somewhere else that's check the pricing and everything local. There should be no points on these loans. I don't want to see 2 points on these VA loans. That is horrible.
Yeah. Once again, that's what we're here for, is to help. And, you know, even when I started, Ed helped me out. That very first deal was a VA loan. You know, he's like a VA loan specialist. So anything really,
I'm a vet on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
and my next book that's coming out is my book, Revamp, just for veterans. So it's just going to talk about the VA loan. So all your agents, you'll get a free copy so you can read it and understand how the program is so much better. All right.
That's awesome.
Everybody make it a great day. Thanks for letting me get across my point today. Thanks, Francisco.